I was just grateful to have some place to come and just that it was a door open, so we wouldn't have to just be outside.
Yeah. We have no homeless shelters in Cape May County, so this has been, something, not only a new program, but something that we don't have anything else like it.
But I actually have time to talk to my children a lot more than I did before.
Well, me and my mom really didn't have the type of mother-daughter relationship at first. It helped us get our relationship back on track and also get a house, which we'll be moving in by next week, I think.
But it's the kids that we see almost do a complete turnaround. We watch the moms cry, then start feeling a little better, breathing again, and then start feeling empowered. But the children, when they start feeling comfortable, they're the ones that we see a big change from the beginning to the end.
At first, I really didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. But then, after I looked into it more, I saw more what it was for, as far as my mom saving money up and for us to get a house and a place to stay.
When a family becomes homeless, right now, two things happen. Their children get taken away because, you can't sleep in a car with children, or doubled up, or in some of these motels. Or you're going to Atlantic City. That is our closest family shelters to our county. But even them, a family unit that goes up will be split up to a men's shelter and a women's shelter. Where in Family Promise, the family stays together.
My son, his schooling has gotten better. His eyesight, we didn't even realize that with all the stuff that I was going through in the past that he was having trouble seeing, and it actually gave me time to sit here and focus with my children and focus on them more as a single mom.
Learned a lot. Yeah.
She learned how to
Pray a lot.
save her money also.
Yeah.
She was a big spender.
Yeah. And have a big time of faith.
Well, the whole room we're sitting in is actually part of a large room that was, the manpower was by Habitat for Humanity, and Lowe's donated the supplies. So right from the beginning, we knew this was like a community embrace program, because every time we even ask anybody for anything, it seems to show up on our door. But it was neat because when Habitat was building the room, they were, Lowe's had supplied a lot of the materials, but Phil had this window out in his car, and he said, do you want your window to be this way or that way? And we're like, whatever you have in your car is fine. He goes, well, I have a window. It's like a house window. It's not really appropriate. I'm like, oh, bring it in. We'll put it in. And we put it in. It was like, how appropriate is it? We're helping families find homes. Our whole office on the outside looks like in the outside of a house. We put little flower pots out there. This is where our families have a permanent address for up to 90 days. Kids go to school from this address, whether they go to school in Woodbine or down in Cape May. School buses from those schools will come here in Rio Grande to pick up the children, so the kids get to stay in the same school. Their lives are as less disruptive as possible. From here, they get their showers, they do laundry, they work with Kathleen, the case manager, on their particular goals that they set for themselves. She's almost like the liaison between the network and the other wonderful resources we have out there to bring them to a point where they can actually move forward.
Working with families and the children is gratifying for me. Seeing the families become empowered, seeing the children happier. I mean, when they come into Family Promise, they're usually in a state of crisis. The kids may not really know what's going on or why, they're not living in their home anymore. And just after 1 week, usually, or 2 weeks, you see the families begin to relax, take a deep breath, know that there are helps out there.
It took me 10 years to figure out what I was going to do, and in this short period of time, it took me 3 months to do what I'm doing now than it is that I tried to do 10 years ago. They help you set goals, and they're not hard. They're just simple things you got to do, and they keep reminding you of doing them, and you achieve those goals with help. It's not a scary place. People think it's scary. I thought I was going to be judged, and nobody has judged me. Even out of the program, friends out of my program, people I work with, that no one has judged me, and everybody's happy for me and excited.
But what this does for congregations is it's giving them a different face as well. Because when our moms first come into the program and they're broken and they're upset, and then we tell them they're going to spend the evening, with people of faith in their houses of worship, they sometimes get a little more upset, and they tell us they're afraid of being judged. Well, when they get there and see that's not the case, that they're lovingly waiting there with a meal, and they're just there. This is just something they're doing for God. So when they go in there and they don't feel that, it really changes immediately, almost, they get that warm feeling as opposed to, thinking they're going to walk in and people are going to ask them, well, how did you get this way? They don't. They say, our guests are here, and then they have a meal, and that's how we look at them, as our guests. And like Kathleen was saying, they become so empowered by people caring. That's their biggest surprise, I think, that so many people care and they've never met them. But then that's the faith community getting to do, practice their faith. Because they spend the night in congregations. We have congregations lined up between Cape May and Ocean City. At this point, 25 of them. 12 of which are what we call host congregations, where the families actually spend the night in these houses of worship. Sunday school rooms are turned into bedrooms with Aero mattresses that we supply. When they arrive at the day center, there is a couple volunteers from that congregation that have made a meal, and they all sit down together and have dinner. There's volunteers that come in the evening for social time, whether it be to play with a child, make a puzzle, rock a baby, help mom with a resume, or just be there, just to have that, compassionate ear to listen to. And then there's always a couple members of the congregation that come in the evening and spend the night in case our guests need anything in the middle of the night. Wake them up in the morning with some coffee on, and in the morning we have a network van. Our van brings all the families back to the day center, in the evening back to the host congregation. The van driver happens to be my husband. He's a volunteer van driver.
Take away a whole lot of new friends and a whole new start, a whole new beginning.
It's a lot of pay it forward in this program as well. All of our moms in the program have become volunteers from one point to another. We had a teenage boy in the program. He turned 16 when he was in the program. The day he left, he said to me, I know you haven't had your job that long, and I know you're not going to retire soon, but when you do, can I have this job? This is what I think I want to do.